All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're breaking down a concept that has absolutely transformed industries, from the factory floor all the way to the executive suite. It's called Kaizen. And we're going to approach this like a top-tier consultant would, giving you a clear, actionable framework for driving real, sustainable change. So let's get to it. The really cool thing is, the entire philosophy is hiding right there in its name. Kaizen is a Japanese term. Kai means change, and Zen means for the good. So at its very core, Kaizen is literally just about change for the better. Or as you probably know it, continuous improvement. It's such a simple idea, but wow, the implications are just profound. So here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to follow a really clear, logical path. First, we'll nail down what the core philosophy is all about. Then we'll look at the framework for actually implementing it across an organization for the long haul. Third, we'll cover the more tactical approach, something called a Kaizen event. And finally, we'll get to the bottom line, the business case and the real-world impact. Okay, let's start with that foundation. Because before we can even talk about all the tools and implementation plans, you've got to understand that Kaizen is, first and foremost, a mindset. It's really a different way of seeing the world and the work you do every single day. This right here is the heart of it all. See, Kaizen isn't some project you do once and then you're done. No, it's a philosophy of making constant, small, incremental improvements. And here's the kicker. This isn't some top-down command. The whole point is that it involves everyone, from the CEO right down to the person on the front line. It's all about empowering every single employee to spot and get rid of waste, what's known in Japanese as muda. And I love this quote because it gets right to the human side of the whole philosophy. It comes from Dr. Shingo, who was a huge part of teaching these ideas to companies like Toyota. It just nails it. The ultimate goal here isn't just about making a process more efficient. It's about unlocking the problem-solving genius that's already sitting there inside every single employee. Okay, so if it's a philosophy, you might be wondering, how do you actually make it happen across a whole company? Let's dig into how you build this into a sustainable, long-term habit. This isn't about a one-time fix. We're talking about creating a whole new muscle for the organization. Now, you could look at a list of 10 different steps, but really we can structure it all into this super clear 4-phase framework. Phase 1 is all about clarity. Define and visualize. What's the actual problem and what does a better future look like? Phase 2, plan and develop, is where you get creative, brainstorm solutions, and build a concrete plan. Phase 3 is go time. Implement and measure. You put the plan into action and you track the results like a hawk. And finally, Phase 4, sustain and standardize. This is where you lock in your gains by documenting the new, better way of doing things so you don't slide back. Now, let's switch gears. While the philosophy is a marathon, sometimes you just need a sprint. And that's exactly where the Kaizen event comes in. Think of it as a focused, high-intensity tactical blitz designed to solve one specific problem in a really short amount of time. Okay, and this right here, this is probably the single most important distinction we're going to talk about. You have to get the difference between the overall philosophy and a specific event. The philosophy is continuous, it's long-term, it involves the whole organization, it's a mindset. The event, on the other hand, is temporary, it's short-term, we're talking days, maybe a week, and it's for a very specific team. It's an action, not a permanent way of being. So pulling off a successful event requires a pretty disciplined playbook. It all starts with setup and alignment. You've got to get a trained facilitator, and this is non-negotiable. You need commitment from management. Next up is scoping and communication, where you clearly define the purpose and, just as important, the boundaries of the event. Then you move to team selection and measurement. You get the right people in the room and you decide exactly what success is going to look like. And finally, it's time for the event itself, implementation. So we have the long-term philosophy and the short-term event. But what's the bottom line, right? Why should any organization invest all this time and energy? Well, this final section is all about the tangible benefits. This is the business case for Kaizen. The most immediate and direct benefit is just a massive reduction in waste. I mean, think about it. When you empower every single employee to look for little inefficiencies in their own daily work, you basically create an army of waste hunters. This directly attacks muda in all its forms. Defects, waiting around, unused talent, you name it. And that, of course, drives up your operational efficiency. And that newfound efficiency, it creates this fantastic ripple effect. When your internal processes are smoother and way less frustrating, employees' satisfaction just naturally goes up. People feel more effective. And at the same time, when the quality of your products and services get better, customer satisfaction goes up. It's this amazing positive feedback loop that benefits everybody. But it goes even deeper than that. There's a really significant psychological impact. See, when employees are actively involved in improving how work gets done, instead of just being told what to do, they feel a much greater sense of ownership. Their commitment to the company deepens because they're not just a cog in the machine anymore, they're actually part of the solution. And of course, that directly hits the bottom line. Higher commitment and satisfaction lead to a more stable workforce. That cuts down on the huge costs that come with employee turnover. And on the flip side, satisfied customers become loyal customers. That improves your client retention and their lifetime value, two metrics that are absolutely critical for growth. So here's the key takeaway. You add all of this up, the efficiency, the quality, the commitment, and what you get is a powerful, sustainable, competitive advantage. We're not just talking about tweaking a process here and there. We're talking about building a more resilient, more innovative, and frankly, a more formidable organization in the marketplace. So we'll end with a challenge. Kaizen always starts with one small step. Now that you've got the framework, I want you to think about your own work, your own team. What's one small, tiny, incremental improvement, one change for the good that you could make tomorrow? Because that, right there, is where the whole journey begins.